My name is Marjorie Wynn, and on May 17th, 2020, I died. I wasn't ready. Not in the way you think. I was on my way to my grandson Caleb's 7th birthday party, humming to an old church song playing through the static of my radio when it happened. The sun had just broken through the clouds after a week of spring rain. I remember thinking how pretty everything looked, wet grass shining like glass, the cherry trees along Highway 29 in full bloom. The cake sat in the back seat, carefully balanced in its box. My heart felt light. My body felt strong, even for my age. I had just been thanking the Lord for my health, for my family, for all the years He had given me. Then it happened. Screeching tires, a wall of metal, and then nothing. They told my daughter I was dead at the scene. A head-on collision with a delivery truck. The impact crushed the front of my car and sent me into cardiac arrest. My heart stopped. My brain stopped. The EMTs tried everything, but there was no pulse, no response. I was clinically dead for 16 minutes and 42 seconds. But I was not gone. I was somewhere else. And what I saw changed everything I thought I knew about angels, about God, and about why some of us see the spiritual realm and some of us don't. I didn't wake up in darkness. There was no confusion, no fear. I was just there, awake, clear, aware. It felt like stepping into something more real than life itself. The air shimmered with something like light, but it wasn't harsh. It felt alive, like compassion itself had taken form. There was no sound, and yet there was music. There were no walls, but I wasn't floating. It was like my spirit had returned to the place it was born from. It wasn't like dreaming. It was more real than real. Every thought had clarity. Every moment had weight. Then I wasn't alone. A presence appeared beside me, not with wings or a robe or a glowing halo, but still unmistakably an angel. I didn't know how I knew. I just did. His form pulsed with light, but it didn't hurt to look at him. His voice wasn't sound, it was understanding, like his thoughts were poured directly into my soul. He looked at me with kindness that made me want to fall to my knees. He said, not with words but with knowing, "Marjorie, you wonder why some see us and others do not." And with that, I was swept into a journey I could never have imagined. The angels showed me something like a living tapestry, billions of souls, each represented by a flicker of light. Some burned bright and steady, others flickered like candles in wind. Some were dim, barely visible. Each soul has its own spiritual frequency, the angel explained. Not based on worth, but on readiness. He showed me how souls are like instruments in an orchestra, each one tuned differently. Not better, not worse, just different stages of openness. Some people, like children or the elderly near death, have spiritual senses that are wide open. Their hearts, their humility, their hunger for God makes them sensitive. That's why some children see angels standing beside their beds, or elderly patients smile just before they pass, as if seeing someone waiting for them. Others never notice, but that doesn't mean the angels aren't there. I was shown a young woman in a hospital praying over her child. Her eyes were red with tears. Her voice shook. Around her were 3 angels, their hands extended over the child's bed. She couldn't see them, but they were there. I saw an elderly man lying in hospice, smiling at a corner of the room where no one else was looking. His angel stood beside him, hand resting gently on his shoulder, preparing to walk him home. The angel turned to me and said, "No one dies alone, ever." I asked, "Then why don't more people see you?" And that's when the angel showed me the truth. First, he explained that spiritual perception is governed by free will. God never forces us to see more than we're ready for. Some people would be overwhelmed if the veil was lifted. Some would become obsessed. Some would fall into fear or idolatry. So, God reveals only what each heart can carry. I saw souls like flowers in a garden, some in full bloom, others still curled tight, waiting for the right season. And over them, the master gardener. He didn't rush any of them. Some see angels early, some late, all according to love. Then he showed me the barriers to perception. I saw a fog rolling over cities, screens of noise, distraction, cynicism, and pride. Phones, stress, entertainment, self-obsession, constant motion. All of it created spiritual static. "The world shouts so loud," the angel said, "that many can't hear the whisper." Then I saw something else, something sad. I saw people praying with pride, people doing good things for attention, people who quoted scripture but carried bitterness. "Pride clouds the spiritual eye," the angel said. "Humility clears it. That's why children often see angels. They haven't built the walls of doubt yet. That's why the broken often perceive heaven more clearly. Pain has opened them." The angel then said something that sank deep into my spirit. Most of heaven's activity on earth goes unnoticed, but it is never wasted. He stretched out his hand, and I was taken into a kind of panoramic experience. I was no longer observing from a distance. I was within moments of people's lives. Real people, regular days, simple interactions. And yet, angels were everywhere. I watched a woman in a grocery store drop her wallet. She didn't notice, but a stranger nearby suddenly turned, saw it, and returned it with a kind smile. What looked like coincidence had been a nudge from a guardian angel. I saw a little boy nearly wander into the street, but tripped at the last second. What saved him? A hand on his shoulder that no one could see. I saw a young nurse administer a medication she wasn't planning to give yet. But something inside her, what she thought was just a feeling, urged her to check the chart again. She caught a mistake. She saved a life. "We speak through intuition," the angel explained. "Through memories, through songs that come into your head at just the right moment. We comfort, we warn, we lead, we shield. And still, most people never know." I was shown a woman grieving the loss of her husband. She sat in her kitchen, tears spilling into her coffee, whispering, "I miss you so much." A single memory flashed into her mind, the way he used to sing to her off-key in the car. It made her smile through her tears. That memory wasn't random. It was sent. The angel said, "Angels carry memories like messages. They deliver joy through sorrow, and peace into moments no one else sees." Then we moved again. This time, I saw prayers, not as words, but as waves of light, ripples traveling across realms. Some were quick and soft, like whispered thanks. Others were bold and blazing, shouts from hospital beds, desperate calls from empty bedrooms. Each one left a trail in the spirit, like smoke from incense, lingering long after it had been spoken. Some of those prayers wove into other people's lives, blessing someone the speaker would never meet. Some created protection. Others opened doors of healing, of reconciliation, of courage. I saw an older man praying for his prodigal son. His words were few, but his heart was broken. The prayer shot through the spiritual atmosphere and collided with a moment weeks later, when the son, strung out and alone, would fall to his knees in a jail cell and cry out to Jesus. The prayer made the way. Prayer is the law of love in motion, the angel said. Every one of them is received. Not all are answered the way you expect, but none are wasted. I asked a question that had been burning inside me. Why don't more people see angels or have near-death experiences like this one? The angel gave me a look I'll never forget, kind but heavy. Some are sent back to speak. Others are asked to walk by faith. Both are sacred. He showed me that near-death experiences are not given because someone is more special or more spiritual. They're given because God, in His mercy, chooses to reveal something at the exact moment it's needed most, for others as much as the person who experiences it. You were shown this not for curiosity, but for calling. And then, before I could ask anything else, I felt a sudden shift, like gravity pulling on my spirit. The angel leaned close, and for the first time, I heard words spoken aloud. Marjorie, it's time. What you've seen is not just for you. Share it. I gasped awake in the hospital. My daughter's face hovered above me, stunned and tear-streaked. Machines beeped around me. My chest ached with the effort of breath. Nurses swarmed the room, disbelief written all over them. I had been dead for over 16 minutes. And yet I was alive, not just physically, but spiritually awakened. I didn't speak much that first day. My body couldn't manage it. But in my mind, the angel's words echoed again and again. Share it. It took me over a year to find the courage. I told close friends first, then a small women's group at church. Eventually, I was invited to speak at a small conference in Tennessee. People wept. Some came forward after to tell me they had felt angels as children but were told to ignore it. Others said they had dreams and visions, but were too afraid to tell anyone. And that's when I knew this message was for them. For the ones who always wondered if God was listening. For the ones who prayed alone and never felt anything. For the ones who feared they'd been forgotten. You haven't. You never were. You never will be. And now, if you're listening to my voice right now, I want you to hear this part carefully. You are not alone. Even if you've never seen an angel, they have always seen you. They've stood by you in dark hallways and lonely hospital beds. They've shielded you from accidents you'll never even know happened. They've whispered when your conscience stirred. They've carried strength to your knees when you didn't know how to pray. No one dies alone, the angel said. Ever. You don't have to see them to believe. You don't have to feel them to be held. You just need to trust the God who sends them. And for those of you who have had glimpses, dreams, visions, spiritual encounters, please hear me. Your mission is not to impress. Your mission is to point. Don't build a platform. Build a bridge. Tell your story, not to make much of yourself, but to make much of the one who never leaves a soul unguarded. I'm Marjorie Wynne. I died on the way to my grandson's birthday party. And what I saw in those 16 minutes will live in me forever. If you've never seen an angel, don't feel left out. You're already being watched over. And if you have glimpsed the unseen, it's because someone, somewhere needs to know it's real. They need to know they are loved, not symbolically, not someday, but right now. If this story stirred something in you, share it. Leave a comment below if you felt angels near or want prayer. Subscribe for more powerful near-death experiences that glorify Jesus and open eyes to the spiritual realm. You're not here by accident. You're here because you were meant to hear this. I'd love to help you bring it to life in any format.